We were taught in the Army in land navigation. When you're not where you want to be, but you know where you are, you're misoriented. When you're not where you want to be and you don't know where you are, then you're lost. So here I am. It's 1986. I'm driving through rural Mississippi. I'm a sergeant in the Army. Actually, I'm a drill sergeant in the Army, heading on temporary duty, driving through the back country, looking at all the good scenery, listening to Cameo on the radio, driving my brand new Buick Century. I see a lot of beautiful sights, but I also see a lot of poverty. And it makes me reflect on the fact that I've come a long way since then. But right now, I need to focus my attention on something else. And that's the fact that I'm almost on E and the sun is starting to drop in the sky. It's getting dark and I got to get some gas fast because every place I've seen so far, it's been closed. So I got to think to myself, I'm going to head in a direction where I see the brightest lights in the sky. So that's what I do. I go off my regular path. I start heading in that direction. And finally, I come up to this wooden building. Looks like a small store. It's got one gas pump outside. Few trucks out there with flags on them. There's some flags on the building itself. I go inside the store. It ain't much of a store. There's not a lot of stuff in there for you to buy. There are about 15 white guys in there and only one black guy in the store. And the black guy, this brother, he's in the center of this half circle of white guys, about 5. And whatever he's doing and whatever he's saying, they are just laughing and giggling and howling. And looking at him reminds me of my stepdaddy and men like him and men of his education, always bowing down to white people, always have to demean themselves, always feeling like it's their job to entertain white people. Like my stepdaddy when he showed up at school to bring me my coat, wearing his old worker's clothes, smelling like chopped up wood, and basically just bowing down to the principal. I was embarrassed. Now, it had been payday in the Army, and back then we used to get paid in cash, and it wasn't uncommon for us to get half our money in small bills. So that day I had 50 crisp, brand new $1 bills in my wallet, smelling like new money. You could just smell the ink on it. Money is so crisp, you could get a paper cut. So I peeled up off a couple of dollars and I gave it to the guy to pay for my gas. I looked back and I just shook my head. I walk out to pay for my gas. And then the black guy, the brother from inside the store, he comes running out there and he's got the dollar in his hand and he's breathing kind of hard. And he says, "Hey man, where'd you get this money from?" And I'm immediately offended. And I go, "Where'd I get this money from? Dude, I have a damn job. I'm in the United States Army. I work for the government. Look at me, man. Look at the car that I'm driving. See this gold watch on my wrist? What do you mean, where did I get the money from?" He said, "Well, those guys inside, they really want to talk to you, man. You're going to have to go back inside." I don't know what this nonsense is, but I'm going to dismiss this and get out of here. So I follow the guy back inside the store. Now it looks like it's about 25 white guys inside the store and even more flags on the wall. So the guy comes from behind the counter and that circle of guys, they start getting a little bit tighter. And he pulls out that $1 bill and he starts looking at it back and forth and he says to me, "Where'd you get that dollar from?" Same stupid question. I say to him basically what I said to the other guy. "Look, man, I have a job. I'm in the United States Army, middle class guy. Look at me. You see the car there I'm driving? You know," I said, "Anyway, man, anybody knows that if you have new money and you working near gas, the ink will smudge off like that. Come on. Besides, why in the hell would I counterfeit a $1 bill? It would have been just as easy for me to counterfeit a $100 bill." I turned my back on him and I went on to the bathroom. The brother, he walks in the bathroom behind me. I look at him dismissively, wondering what he wants. He says, "Hey man, I don't know where you from, but you here now. And he walks out. I'm thinking to myself, what's this dude talking about? And then suddenly it hits me. I know that tone. I've heard that tone before. That's the tone my stepdaddy had in his voice. That's the tone that means, black man, your ass is in a lot of trouble. Now, when I walk outside, there are a whole bunch of Confederate flags on the wall. There are about 50 white guys in the place, and they're looking angry. And the brother, he don't look like a buffoon no more. Now he just looked like a black man trying to survive. He looked like my stepdaddy. He looked like me. So now I sit down in that chair, and my chief interrogator, a portly guy, bad teeth. Any other day of the week, I'd look at a man like him and say I could snap his neck like it was a twig. But right now, I'm nobody. All that middle class talk, all this stuff about I had arrived, that I was part of the group now. No, because right now, right here, in this place, I was just another nigga. And so why this fool pressed me with dozens of questions, and I had to answer and laugh at his jokes and repeatedly say, yes, sir. It killed me inside. And this continued for hours, because I knew in this place they could do any damn thing they wanted to me. And then I wanted to go home alive. And when my self-imposed interrogator decided he became bored of me, he allowed me to leave the store. I walked in as Kunta Kinte. I was leaving as Toby. And I went outside and I sat in my car and I realized I was misoriented. I was lost. And why is it important to vote? Because I shouldn't. You shouldn't. We shouldn't never become complacent. Thank you.